Pranjal Srivastava, founder and CEO of CodeFire Technologies, to kindly come up and take his seat on the dais. Big round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Srivastava. Finally, I will request Srimati Jyoti Shekhar, Head.
Verma, we will be waiting for her, and she is the Director and National Head Talent Acquisition of Ernst & Young. Pranjal Srivastava, Mr. Pranjal Srivastava, founder and CEO of CodeFire Technologies. Thank you so much, sir, for coming over here. Thank you. I've been heard of your company of late a lot. Madam Jyoti Shekhar, head of... That was quite an insightful talk, though again I have got some questions which I will come back to you. But prior to that, Mr. Pranjal Srivastava, I would like to have your opinion on the
move on, right? There were 10-20% people who were retail because obviously they had that domain knowledge and they had to be retail kind of thing if you want to run the business, right? But the new generation that came in was initially skeptical as to how computers and everything would work. But today we see that there's a huge explosion. Everybody is pretty much into technology. Everybody is doing some software coding, things like that, right? So I kind of feel that we are almost at the similar kind of position now. I personally and the technology friends that I meet were of the opinion that knowledge workers will be very difficult to replace. It'll be all the mundane jobs, all the repetitive stuff would be replaced. But with this ChatGPT versions that we've seen 3, 3.5 and 4, the way it's kind of directly targeting the knowledge. So I never used to look at code and think that this was content, right? But this is the first time with ChatGPT 4 generating code, we realized that code was anyways content, right? You could be writing content in English, you could be writing content in Hindi, or you could be writing content in computer language, right? So which is where all the knowledge workers are kind of impacted with this first, right? So that's where I think but now going back to my analogy that I gave for computerization, now is the time that you embrace this change. Now is the time that you start a mindset shift, because as humans we take some time to adjust to new things. It's not that a flip of switch and you change your thinking, right? So we do take some time to adjust. So the sooner you start, chances are you have better chances to adapt quickly, because this with the revolution that has started in terms of AI, is only going to speed up, right? So, and even ChatGPT 4, like Mr. Bagir was saying, right? It has ChatGPT 4 was initially not behaving very well, and now it's been trimmed down a little bit. I would say use the word trimmed down a little bit to make its responses more consumable by us. Otherwise, if you would go out on the internet and try to see, GPT-4 was primarily initially released to Microsoft engineers, and they were basically experimenting with it. And the kind of responses that they got, they were like completely in awe of it. And there are some videos out there on YouTube. If you search for that, you will see that the capabilities of ChatGPT-4 are like absolutely out of the world. And the version that is out there in the public, which itself is awesome, is like probably 10 or 15% of what actual program is capable of, right? So as a technologist, I feel envious of the people who have got access to the raw version, because they can do what I cannot do, right? But at the same time, obviously when it has to come out in the market, it has to be, like everybody should be able to, for example, somebody asked ChatGPT a question, you're black female, it said no, right? Because it's learning from data, whatever it's seen, it says based on that. So those biases were there in the old version, which had to be removed, right? Because obviously we don't like anybody who says something like that. But as also we've got biases. So which is, what I'm trying to say here is, technology revolution is almost at our doorsteps. And we as humans take some time to adjust to new things. So if you want to survive, and if you want to thrive in the new environment, we have to evolve and evolve quickly. This is primarily for the generation who's like 40s or later, right? But the new kids who are coming in, coding or technology used to be a skill set that you could learn and quickly grasp, and you could probably start with a good job and start coding, right? But that is going to change. Why did we need coding? Coding was where I could talk to the computer and tell it what it needs to do, right? But now computer understands my language. It knows the way I speak. It knows English. It knows Hindi. It knows all of my language. So I don't need to learn those languages, right? So which is where so sometime back there was something going on that everybody in future has to know how to code. But now nobody needs to know how to code. Everybody can program computer just by using plain English, plain Hindi, or plain Bengali, or whatever language you prefer, right? So that's the potential, right? So the people who were just surviving by learning technology and earning from that part is gone. But what is going to remain is, one is, for example, I think we've got lots of HR people here, right? So if I talk in terms of HR, basically there are two parts to it. One is administrative part of it, where you draft a JD and then you float, figure out resumes and you figure out which one's best fit and stuff, right? So that is one part, and the other part is human part, where wherever you touch with another human, where you talk to the person, right? That's where you make them feel comfortable, and that's where so those human touch points of jobs are going to remain for a long time. But this automatically, they configured some of the job portals, so it automatically went on to those job portals, it automatically pulled out the resumes, it matched those resumes with the job description, it placed the calls to those, a telephonic call to those candidates, scheduled the job interview, and then informed the manager that everything is done. And all of that, was probably done in 3-4 hours, depending on when the candidate was available and all, right? So this whole thing would have probably taken a week kind of work, which was automatically done in 4 hours, right? And nobody had to even lift a finger, right? So that's the capability that's there. It's been trimmed down because we don't want everybody access to everything, right? So, but what that opens up is, if we are more humanly driven, when the candidate shows up in our office, or when we're talking to them, then chances are they would, ultimately end up joining the company. So that's where, so the kind of jobs, for example, medicine, right? We as humans feel more peaceful when we talk to a person sitting next to us, telling us what medicines we should take. If a machine is telling us, we probably not even believe that machine, right? So that's where, these kind of jobs where there's human touch point is going to be there for the long term. But there's no doomsday for technology people as well. As far as I can see, technology works. So the second analogy I use for this revolution is iPhone coming into market. Right? When iPhone came in, nobody knew the potential. But now, like sir has already said, everybody's got a phone in their pocket, and it's created a completely new set of jobs. New apps and new kind of stuff, right? So which is where I see that with this AI kind of technology, there will be an immense personalization of applications. When I say personalization, I could give a very simple example in terms, for example, everybody loves to watch movies, right? We see lots of different heroes, and wife or your girlfriend is the heroine, right? So in the real time, something of that sort happens, right? That a movie is released, but you can see it as yourself performing there. Those kind of things. When you're going on the web apps are designed, for example, these are for youngsters, these are for more aged people and kind of things, because they know what kind of user experience person is experiencing. But next wave of applications would probably personalize in the application for the individual, not for the group, not for the age group or any other demographics, right? So which is where there's going to be huge potential on AI side, but the basic things that are required probably to take advantage of that is you have to get out of workers' mindset. What is workers' mindset? Workers' mindset is, you are being told what to do and you are being told how to do it. If you're that kind of person, that job is going to be eliminated. You have to be driven from inside. You have to be, somebody who adds value on his own, who's driven on his own. That kind of people are going to survive, right? So which is where, maybe your company will tell you to start using ChatGPT, maybe they will not. But if you want to survive, if you want to, kind of evolve quickly and be on the leading edge, do it on your own quickly, which is why, like Vikas was already saying, right? It was the fastest software which, it went to 100 million people within 2 or 3 months, which is like Instagram took 2.5 years, right? So that's where you have to quickly adapt and give yourself enough time to get used to it, because next version of ChatGPT, so ChatGPT 4 was already created in August last year. They took 9 months to just dump it down, if I say, if I can call it that. So it took 9 months for them, right? So what that means is probably GPT-5 is already there, and maybe they're already working on 6, right? So which is where, and these are like magnitudes of improvement. When I say magnitudes of improvement, it's like 10 times or more, right? So if a software is becoming smarter in 2 or 3 months by 10 orders of 10, then as a human, we would not be able to match it. But obviously we could quickly, add it to our repertoire. We could start using it and become better humans rather than, competing with the machine. That's my point.
It's very well taken, sir. Yeah, very well taken. And we will come back to you for further insights. Thank you so much. Okay.
Will only give you an answer that was there earlier. It cannot give you an answer that was never there. That is where I keep on telling my students, my staff members, everybody, the think tank researchers, that artificial intelligence cannot replicate the out-of-the-box thinking which human beings have. We human beings have out-of-the-box thinking. We can, synthesize rather.
Pranjal and Madam Jyoti, to summarize up in 2 minutes, I will open the questions for you. Number 1 question is, how will the recruitment structure be disrupted? That is something I have a question in mind for you. I request you to kindly keep it in 2 minutes. And the question for Jyoti Madam, I've got 2 questions for you. First question is it possible? Is it possible? I don't know, it is just out of the blue, the question. Can businesses and policymakers work together to ensure that the benefits of AI are distributed more equitably to benefit industry leaders to make profit by automation, by automating human jobs, and also the workers not to lose jobs? Is it possible? Is it a possibility? You being a lawyer, I'm asking you this question. And the second question was from your talk, that with the 10% of the non-clerical work you need, as you said, will you recruit 100% clerical people that you do today, or you will use AI software for that? These are the 2 questions for you. I will start with Mr. Pranjal first. How do you feel the recruitment structure will be disrupted? So kindly keep it in 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. So basically, recruitment, as of now, when we are hiring people, right, we primarily focus on the skills that a person has learned, right? But the way, everybody kind of here has a consensus that, lifelong learning and quickly picking up new skills is going to be really important it's already very important, but it's going to be increasingly more important, right? So that's one emphasis that will happen, on recruitment side when we're hiring candidates. We'll probably be focusing more on the human skills, more, like work ethic kind of related things, and how the interaction with the humans are there. And plus, how quickly somebody could learn, unlearn, and relearn. Those are the things that, would be very different from the way recruitment is being done right now. Right? So those are things that I think, would probably be impacted.
Technologies. Mr. Pranjal Srivastava. Thank you, sir.